All right. Hello. Hello, everybody. Uh, yeah. Hello, YouTube. How you going? Um, so, at the moment, one of the things that I'd love to get going and kick off is making videos on YouTube because I'm not going to muck around. I think I'd love to share my life and my the things I love. I was going to say my passions and hobbies and whatever, but let's get to the first video. Okay, this is the first video. I don't know what channel it's going to be on, but for now it's probably going to be. Let's just pick one. Okay, rock and roll channel. Let's do rock and roll video. First video. Okay. Well, actually, I did film another rock and roll video a couple of days ago, which I'm yet to upload. So I'll probably upload that one first and then do this one. So you'll be going back in time to watch that. Okay, great. I'm Alan, and this video is all about rock and roll. This channel is going to be about rock and roll, whether it's about guitar or my enthusiasm for the type of rock and roll I love, um, whether it's my style. So maybe lately, because I love 80's rock and roll, I'm growing my hair out because that's what you want, you know what I mean? Like if you love 80's rock and roll and that style, that glam metal style, or even some people love speed metal, thrash metal, like so many types of metal. And the um the hair is a huge part of the love for that, and like embodying that metal spirit, you know what I mean? As cheesy as it could be, whether it's some metal styles, they love to hate on glam metal, or they call it hair metal, or just basically the music that they call I'm just gonna say sex, drugs, rock and roll. Just singing about partying and all that stuff. Um, Whereas serious heavy metal is probably more about darker, like it's more intense. The lyrics about it could be ranging from horror to real world issues, and it's a bit more of a serious tone. So they tend to not real. Some of those people may not take too well to party rock and roll. They're like, nah, that's not my thing. I know I've had that mood before. So because I've loved like hard rock, 80's glam metal and stuff. Um, that was one of my main pulls into metal and rock and roll, was that type of music. And then I explored more into more serious, harder genres, like speed metal, and enjoying the band Enforcer and bands like that. Maybe a bit of thrash metal that goes into kind of horror themes. A bit of that guy, Merciful Fate. His name's King Diamond. So a bit more like I was curious, like bit of Judas Priest. I know Judas Priest sometimes borders on like a rock and roll vibe, and also metal, because they're all about metal. But what I could make this video about for the meantime is since I started talking about hair, let's talk about hair, baby. Okay, let's keep going on the hair. So let's not change the topic too much. But so with my hair, the last time I cut it was in I think April. Well, I didn't cut it. I went for a haircut, right? The barber cut it for me, and I tend to go through, say, like 4 months at a time, or 3, 4 months um, before I go in for a haircut. You know what I mean? And it was getting like a little bit long enough to be like, okay, you need a haircut. It's not looking like a business haircut anymore, like a short haircut. Um, and so I went in, and I think it was also at the end of the day too, because they were a bit rushed, and they were really like, the guy was really pulling on my hair. It just felt a bit too rough, you know what I mean? And using those shears, those clippers, they can feel a bit rough and a little bit invasive. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like I love metal, but I don't like metal like rubbing across my head too much. You know what I mean? I like it pumping into my ears, and into my body, not literally onto me, like, yeah. I don't want to take it literally, but yeah. And I'd been curious for a long time about growing my hair longer, but it had been thinning quite a bit on top before. Like here, even though you can tell maybe it's a little bit thin, but it doesn't look too thin to maybe not grow long. You know what I mean? So at that time it was a bit thinner. There, I have like around the crown, it's starting to thin a little bit. Like there was a little bit of a bald patch happening, and I just felt a little bit insecure and thought, maybe long hair, I'd like it, but it's probably not for me. It's probably not going to be practical. That said, people like Hulk Hogan and some real rock and rollers, they don't care if the top thins out. They just, whatever will grow long, they don't care. The sides and the back, they don't have a problem growing that normally. That doesn't thin. So they'll just grow that and maybe wear a bandana or like a cowboy hat on top and enjoy it like that. Or you could be like Hulk Hogan. Yeah, he wears a bandana on top to cover the thinning hair. But when he takes it off, he rocks it. Like, his confidence, you can make it work, even if your hair's thinning. You can go to, like, I went to a hairdresser because alternatively to a barber that more specializes in getting those clippers out and clipping your hair, just clipping the heck out of it, you know what I mean? Um, a hairdresser, their vibe is more with the scissors and getting it longer, like longer styles, medium to long. But when I went to him the first time, I said, I just want a little bit of a tidy up, but not cut too much off, because I'm trying to grow it long. I want medium to long hair, And he's like, no, I'm not going to do medium and long hair for you. Like we're in the chair and he's cutting it. He says, because your hair is thinning. And then I'm like, okay. And then I just saw all this hair falling onto the ground. I'm thinking, that's my hair going again, getting cut short again. But I've cut it many times in the meantime, like getting shorter. But now, like it's been since April, and now's December. I think that's coming up to 9 months, if my math is okay. So April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Oh no, that's nine. That's 8 months. Yeah, so that's a decent amount of time, and it's starting to lose the shape of a business haircut, so it doesn't look as awkward anymore. And I'm liking how it's sort of curling, like the waves and stuff. Some people have commented that they like my hair at the moment because even though like some people have asked me, like I work with kids as well, in like childcare, like school age kids, and yeah, I know who would let me work with kids. Oh no, I'm only kidding. I'm a good bloke. The kids get along well with me, and I think it's my vibe to look after children. It keeps you young at heart and all that, and we're there to protect them and look after each other, look after them. But yeah, some of the kids have said, "I like your hair. Well, what haircut is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't cut it yet. I haven't. I've just been growing it from a business cut. You know what I mean?" Um, and yeah, so I'm. It doesn't. Yeah, it's sort of growing out good, and long hair I think suits me because of the waves. So now the video is getting a bit long, about 8.5 minutes. Um, that's what she said. It's getting a bit long, but like yeah, long hair. So I've identified like what is that style called? So it's called a shag cut normally. Oh, there you go. That's what she said. And shag haircut, a shaggy cut, Um, and they use like so. These days, nowadays, a lot of those cool shag cuts that I like tend to be more modeled by women these days. But so maybe in the 80's it was more popular with men, or men into rock and roll, But nowadays it's more the women who like, I don't know whether it was then and now or since then, but if you want to look at good examples of modern haircuts, you got to look at the women's ones, right? So, but I guess if you just say to the hairdresser, "Oh, 80's hairstyle, 80's shag cut for men," yeah. But yeah, so there's a lady in a local hairdresser that I've been messaging, and I said to her, "Oh yeah, I'd like to get a haircut from you," and she said, "Yeah, that style I can do fine for you, the shag cut." All right, that's it. 10 minutes. let's stop it there. All right, it was cool to talk to you about my hair and hair metal, baby, hair metal. All right, and we'll make another video soon about anything else to do with rock and roll, or ask or tell me about your hair and all that, you know, because when you go to rock and roll shows, there's a lot of cool hairstyles you get to see, and it's like, oh, wow, how long have they been growing that for? It's like, you know, yeah. So yeah, let's talk more about other types of topics in rock and roll and metal soon in the next video. Okay, cheers. All right, love you, love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye bye.